This thing behind me is a power station. It's called the DJI Power 2000, and man, it can charge pretty much anything you can imagine. What's going on, guys? My name is Dan Davis and I'm the creative director here on danstube.tv, and today I've got my full review of the DJI Power 2000, which you can see behind me here. Now, the first thing I want to mention straight off the bat, I tested the previous version, the Power 1000, and the weight on this guy is noticeable. The first one, the Power 1000, was heavy, right? And it still is a heavy unit, but this thing here takes a little bit to get used to. I did receive this unit here, which actually makes it a lot easier. It's a proper trolley system, so now I can load up the unit and actually wheel it around with not too many issues at all. You do get two handles on the side of the unit itself, but that's something I just want to mention straight off the bat. Like, you want to make sure that you've got a full trolley system for this, otherwise you probably will pull your back, so just be really careful with it. When we think about who a power station is for, it's definitely not for everyone. It's not for just the average everyday consumer. Unless you're really into traveling, you've got yourself an RV, or you camp all the time, and you're exploring potentially an area where you have limited power, that's where it's going to be ideal. You can utilize it in a basic home setting, but most people are going to have all of their needs met by their wall outlets and their computer and laptop and everything else that they need to use. They're most likely going to be able to charge their phone with something at home or charge up their devices when they're at home, so they're not necessarily going to need that. But if the power goes completely out, perfect for a home environment, and also perfect if you want to set up something and you're just nowhere near a power outlet and you don't want to go and get an extension cable or anything like that. You can utilize the Power 2000 in those kind of situations. The Power 2000 has a 2 kilowatt hour capacity and also a stable 3000 watt power output. So I put it to the test. Honestly, I've been testing it now for weeks, and it's really impressive what it can actually handle. Previous power stations I've tested from all sorts of people in the past will trip up when you try to even plug in a kettle and boil the kettle. Something like that, it will just trip it. It won't be able to handle it. I was able to boil the kettle while also putting the toast on. I didn't have toast in it, but I put the toaster on, and I was also charging things all at the same time. It didn't even meet that 3000 watt capacity. It was just below 3000 watts, but it was able to do all of it with ease. That's a huge benefit there. For something like a kettle, if you're camping, for example, and your power station is just tripping constantly, you're not going to be able to boil your water, right? Unless you have a fireplace and you set everything up properly in that way. But if you want to take a kettle, the Power 2000 is going to have no issues. You could literally have the kettle going and your toast going at the same time, no issues. I tested all sorts of configurations, like I really did test it. I had my walking pad at one point while I was charging a few devices. I was able to utilize the walking pad, and again, no issues. It was charging up my drones and cameras and all the accessories I was using, no issues at all. I've charged, all sorts of things, like even a vacuum battery. I've charged a bunch of different power banks, and it just handles really anything you put at it, right? And there's so many available ports, so many different options to utilize its power. And that's really good to see. The fact that that 3000 watts in my scenarios, it didn't get close. Even when I was really trying to push it with the kettle and toaster, I was still able to charge things as well. But in most scenarios, you're only going to be using the kettle very briefly, and then you're probably going to go back to charging up your accessories and devices and whatnot. And in that kind of scenario, it's going to be phenomenal. There are 4 AC power ports on the unit itself on the left-hand side. And it's interesting because you've got 2 on the top that are just the normal way, they're just upright, and then 2 that are upside down below them. Interesting design choice there. I thought it was going to make a difference when it comes to plugging in different devices and maybe giving you a bit more room, but it doesn't really make too much difference. It's almost would have been better to have them all upright, all the normal way, but no major issue for me. I'm still able to plug in a bunch of different devices with no major issue at all. I will say from my experiences, I did have a few challenges with actually plugging in cables at times, plugging in that power port. Just sometimes there was a bit of resistance and I had to get it on the right angle to plug it in. I had no issues when it was plugged in and everything was fine. I had no major issue for the most part, but just occasionally there was a little bit of resistance when I was plugging it in. So I don't know if anyone else has experienced that. Let me know in the comments, but that was something I noticed. There are also 2 SDC ports on the device itself, and that just means that you can charge up devices a lot quicker. You can get standalone DJI cables and accessories to charge up all sorts of drones, all sorts of devices, and works really well from previous tests I've done with their previous power unit. Going back to what I was saying at the beginning, the unit actually weighs 22 kilograms, so you just need to be mindful of the weight. There's a 3000 watt max output power, and it has a capacity of 2048 watt hours. So again, a really, really powerful unit. The thing that I really love about the Power 2000 is the versatility when it comes to the ports that are available. So I've mentioned a few of them. There's the AC ports, there's the SDC ports, but then you've also got 4 USB-C and 4 USB-A ports. 2 of the USB-C ports are maxed out at 140 watts and 2 are maxed out at 65 watts. And then you've got 4 USB-A ports and all of them are maxed out at 24 watts as well. So you've got some variety in there. They all charge really nicely. It just depends on what cable you're using, depends on what device you're using. But the fact that you can go up to 140 watt fast charging is phenomenal here. This time we actually get an accompanying app, which is really nice to see. It's called DJI Home. It's a simple app, doesn't have too much to it, but it does the job. It does exactly what you need it to do. It tells you exactly what the output is. If you're charging it, it tells you the input, how long it's going to take to charge it up and what it's charging at, that kind of stuff. You have a few options when you are charging it, if you want to charge it really fast or a bit slower. And it charges extremely fast. Like there's really no issues at all when it comes to that charge time, which is nice to see from DJI recently. So they are advancing with their battery technology and just how quickly things charge nowadays. If you are interested in the Power 2000 or any other drone camera accessory, whatever it may be, make sure to check my links down below. I will have some links for the Power 2000. If you're based in Australia, I do actually have a really great way for Aussies to save. I've got a code through the D1 store, which is Dan's Tube, that works on most drones, cameras, and accessories. You can reach out to them directly, sales@d1store.com.au. Again, mention Dan's Tube and they'll help you out. Or if you're in store at one of the DJI stores in Australia, then also just mention it when you're in store, see what they can do for you. They'll be able to help you out there as well. And for my international viewers, I'll have all those links as well down there for you. So don't worry, regardless of where you're based, I've got some links down there that will help you out. They say it only takes 45 minutes to charge from 0 to 80%. So 45 minutes, that is phenomenally fast. And the unit itself is actually really quiet this time around. You do hear the fans kick in and there's really nice ventilation on the sides, but they're saying 29 decibels is the sound that it's producing, right? So even when I was using the kettle, the toaster, charging a bunch of stuff, I couldn't even hear it. Like the kettle was obviously a lot louder than the unit, but it's just so quiet considering like how beefy it is and how much output it's giving you. Really quiet at 29 decibels. That was nice to see as well. The ventilation is really nice and the heat dispersion as well seemed to be fine. I had no issues to the touch, nothing gets hot, had no issues with anything like erroring out on me. Even when I was leaving it out in the sun for a bit to test a few things, no issues with anything like that. If we put it into some form of context here, if we're talking like camping and road trips, you can charge your mobile phone 114 times, 64 times for a camping light, and a coffee machine for 110 minutes. And if we're talking content creation, a digital camera, it can charge 118 times, a laptop 18 times, a drone 24 times, and a speaker 128 times. So really versatile stuff here again. Powerful, powerful charging station and great for a bunch of different situations and sort of context that you might be in. So just going back to the app again, it is a very basic offering here, but it's so simple to update the firmware through the app, which is nice to see. It gives you a very basic interface. It shows you what the output is, the input is, and it's nice to see, like you can see exactly what ports are being used. It will tell you the output of the AC ports, and then it will show you the USB-C ports separately and the USB-A ports and the SDC as well. So it's just really clear and simple and to the point. It also tells you on the display as well. There's a really nice display on the unit, and that tells you a few key sort of metrics you might need to know. And it'll also tell you how long you're going to get at its current rate. So if it's charging a bunch of different devices and it's utilizing 200 watts, let's say, it will tell you how long it can charge at that rate for until it's depleted. So again, really simple information at a glance, and you get a little bit more advanced information when you're on the app. But both work in harmony, and I love how easy it is to update the firmware as well. It's really nice to see. There's a bunch of different applications that they're also talking about. So there's grid power, solar power, car power, and also intelligent hybrid recharging. So a bunch of different ways to utilize it. Yeah, it's one of those things that you don't really get a chance to fully test the full context of it, because there would be people out there that are living off-grid that would hugely benefit from something like this. There are people that camp a lot, that have an RV that go out regularly. You know, people that are adventuring that don't have access to power and they need it in certain situations. Something like this is great, right? You have the trolley system I showed you before, you wheel it in, you put it in your car, RV, or wherever you're going, and you've got a really powerful power station, right? You can utilize it for all sorts of things. Like if you're using like a camping stove, the kettle, like I mentioned, your toaster, like anything like that. And then you can charge up your phone, maybe your cameras, whatever it may be. Perfect for those sorts of situations. I imagine it as like you're going kind of off grid, you're going inland somewhere and there's no power and you want to explore and experience for a couple of days. Something like this is great because you've still got access to that power and it's going to be reliable for a few days. It's going to charge really fast all of your devices, and it's great for that kind of scenario. That's where I really see it excelling. It is a really powerful unit. If we quickly compare it to the Power 1000 version 2, the capacity of the Power 1000 is 1024 watt hours, where the Power 2000 is 2048 watt hours. So double the capacity of the Power 1000. It's also got that maximum continuous output of 3000 watts as opposed to 2600 on the Power 1000. When it comes to weight as well, really big difference here, like I mentioned. So it weighs 22 kilograms and the Power 1000 only weighs 14.2 kilograms. So a big change when it comes to weight here. A lot of the other stuff's quite similar when it comes to grid power, car power, solar power. You get 4,000 cycles is the typical cycle life, and the max operating altitude is 5,000 meters. And there's a bunch of other things here that are quite similar between the two units. So it's really up to preferences. It depends on what you're using it for. So the Power 2000 is definitely the one for people that are like extreme. You're into adventuring, you're into exploring. Maybe you've got an RV, maybe you're going on a big road trip. Maybe you're really into camping, or you're really into like, you know, living off grid, for example, for a period of time, or going off grid for a holiday, for an experience, whatever that may be. If you're doing that regularly and you find that you're running low on power, or you're using like tiny little power banks that aren't just doing it for you, something like this is ideal for that kind of situation. Definitely not for the average person, someone who lives in a house all the time, who lives in their comfort, who doesn't really put themselves in those kind of situations. Great if the power goes out, great if you have any sort of event that cuts the power, great in those kind of situations. But really, like, I see it as a great scenario. Like, let's say, for example, I wanted to put on a party out back, right? And we want a speaker set up, we want a projector, maybe we want some other things powering. Perfect for that. So I don't have to run like an extension cable all the way out. I could just have the unit sitting there. We could plug in the projector, the speaker, we could have it like a popcorn machine running, you know, stuff like that. That would be ideal, so you don't have to have a cable running through. That's where, again, I would see that kind of stuff excelling. If you're really into like creating an experience and you don't want to worry about like cables running everywhere, it's ideal for something like that. It's really going to make the most out of that kind of situation. So anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on the Power 2000. It is a great unit, a huge improvement over the previous version when it comes to what it can actually do. The fact that I can charge all sorts of devices at the same time with no issues is great. I love the app. It's a really nice addition, and it's a great improvement here. They've done an awesome job. So definitely check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll chat to you very soon. Peace.